Welcome back to Kavanaugh's Corner. I just want to take a second and say thank you to everyone that's subscribed to the channel here. We just recently surpassed 2,600 subscribers. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed and you appreciate physical media, movies on 4K, Blu-ray, TV shows, things like that, definitely make sure to subscribe. This just been an incredible last couple months, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. Today, we are going to be talking about a movie that is a big favorite of mine, partially just because I love how this movie knows exactly what it is. It just is here to accomplish a singular goal, and that's to be an out and out revenge movie with psychological aspects to it, and that is Rolling Thunder. This is a film by John Flynn, who has actually done some pretty great action films. Another one of his that I really like is the Steven Seagal movie Out for Justice. And that movie, I don't know why, but it's just a very entertaining movie. Steven Seagal is a train wreck movie with his ridiculous Italian accent, and it's just a fun movie. And another one of his that I really like is Lock Up with Sylvester Stallone. That's kind of a brutally underrated movie. That's another one that I really enjoy. But this here, in my opinion, is one of the best revenge films of all time. It may actually be, honestly, like one of the first like revenge films. This and Death Wish really are the first couple movies that come out in the 70s that really kind of perfected like the violent revenge movie. And this was written by Paul Schrader, and was pretty heavily rewritten before it was made. The original script of this movie is very different than what's actually on screen here, but he provided an amazing script, and as much as he didn't like the changes that were made, I still think it amounted to a really good movie. William Devane is the main character. He plays a guy named Charles Rain, who was an Air Force major who became a POW for many years, and he's brought back to San Antonio, Texas, and really, after being there for a short period of time, he is the victim of a home invasion, and these guys want to steal these silver dollars that were given to him. These people steal the silver dollars, they kill his wife and son, and they put his hand in a garbage disposal, which is why he has this hook, this prosthetic hook for a hand through the majority of the film. But I love that kitsch that this movie has. I love that hook. There's just something about the way that William Devane plays this character. It's so well done. Tommy Lee Jones is like 12 years old in this movie. Even in one of his first major roles, actually may be his first major role if I'm not mistaken, but even him in this movie, his character is so complex, but you really have to watch him to see the complexities of it. He looks so depressed, but when he's killing these awful people at the end of the movie, he looks so happy. He's so overjoyed because he gets to be in action again. And it really says a lot about the psychological state of veterans. And this movie is really one of the first movies to tackle PTSD. It didn't even have a term back then. It's a fascinating film. I really love the many different aspects of this film. But in the end, it's a revenge film, and it's a damn good one. You really want to see William Devane and Tommy Lee Jones cream these guys. And when you finally get to that big explosive shootout at the end, I always walk away feeling extremely satisfied. But anyway, that's my little take on the movie. Today we're going to talk about the new 4K disc that's included in this. This is a Shout Select Special Edition from Shout Factory. This is a 2-disc set. It's got a 4K disc and a Blu-ray. The new 4K transfer of this, it's a native 4K transfer that was actually done from the original 35 millimeter negative, and it has Dolby Vision and everything. And I gotta say, the picture quality on this disc is absolutely stunning. I had it on standard Blu-ray when Shout Factory released it. Whew, it's got to be over 10 years ago now, and that Blu-ray was pretty good. I mean, the movie was definitely not as good looking as it should have been, but at the time, it was okay. It was just a step above a upscale DVD, but at the time, it looked all right. It was just nothing spectacular. The movie seemed very flat, and some of the darker scenes really were washed out and kind of hard to decipher what was going on. It was kind of a big problem. And Jordan Cronenweth is actually the director of cinematography on this film. He also did Blade Runner and Stop Making Sense. And so this guy was a fantastic cinematographer. He sadly passed away years ago. But his cinematography skills are on display in this movie. I actually didn't realize how damn good this movie looked until I watched it on this 4K disc. The Dolby Vision HDR on this disc does wonders for the movie. It has never looked this good. The darker scenes, there's a lot of scenes that have shadows and dark scenes in bedrooms and nighttime cityscapes and things like that. Those scenes now look so gorgeous. They have nailed the black levels on this disc to perfection. They are some of the best black levels I have seen on any 4K disc up until this point. I was extremely impressed with this. There is one scene in particular near the beginning of the film where William Devane is in a living room area in his house talking to his wife, and it's basically shot in very minimal lighting, and that scene just looks so gorgeous now. There is another scene later in the film where William Devane is out near a pond with Linda Haynes, and they share kind of a peaceful moment together after a pretty hectic scene. And there is a shot of the sun setting in front of this pond, and it looks so gorgeous. The yellows, the reds, just the light coming off that pond is just, it's so beautiful to look at. And this movie does get pretty brutal at times, but the color and detail on this movie now have just been ratcheted up to like 11. The movie is never overblown or oversaturated. It's done just right. There is a fair amount of grain on screen as well. The grain level on this, I would say, is like a low to medium. It has been mitigated to a degree, but it really does look fantastic. That filmic look, again, this was made in 77, this came out. So, you know, obviously it was shot on film, but that filmic look is intact, is really no DNR to be found anywhere. This is a spectacular transfer, and as the movie goes on, the dingy bars and seedy hotels and stuff really just look so grimy and slimy now, and the overdone makeup on a prostitute in the third act and the final scene of the film really jumps out at you now. There is a few details now that just look so wild, and some of the physical gore effects, I should say. It's not really gore, but like squibs, and there's a scene where William Devane puts his prosthetic hook through a guy's hand, and you know, some of that stuff looks pretty good, I gotta say. It's actually kind of impressive, but the movie as a whole just looks completely fantastic now. They have remastered this to perfection, and it actually may be one of my favorite 4K transfers of the year so far. Absolutely stupendous job from Shout Factory on this one. It's a knockout transfer. And this also includes a DTS HD Master Audio Mono mix. Now, as far as I can see, it's a 2.0, it's a split mono, but the sound on this I thought was great. It's nothing spectacular, but it's pretty much a slightly upgraded version of the original theatrical audio track. And the music by Barry Dvorak sounds absolutely incredible. There's really not much to note in terms of changes. There really isn't any. It's just a split version of the original audio track, and it sounds great. It's funny, this movie has a song that plays at the opening and closure of the film called San Antone, and I think Denny Brooks sings it. And it's so funny that a movie that gets so brutal and nasty at times has like the most beautiful, gorgeous opening and closing song. It's one of my favorite songs actually in any film. And it's just, I don't know why that song is in this movie, except for the fact that the movie takes place in San Antonio. Most of the movie takes place in San Antonio, but it's an awesome song, and it sounds fantastic on this this mono mix that's included. There is a pretty good amount of sound effects, gunshots, crashes, things like that are in this film, and everything sounds great. I mean, it's just the original audio track, and I didn't have to do any kind of adjustments or anything. It sounded pretty good. One little note about the audio track I will say is that there are certain times where I felt the dialogue was a little low, but I think that was done by design, and it's not an issue with the disc, because every time I've seen this movie, I have trouble hearing dialogue in the same exact scenes. I think that's just the way it was done. You get the true, authentic experience with the audio track that comes with this. There is no other audio track except for that mono. So if you don't like it, too bad. That's pretty much the deal there. Now, on the 4K disc, in terms of special features, there are two new audio commentaries. There is an audio commentary with a screenwriter novelist, Haywood Gould, who is the co-writer, who I'm pretty sure is the guy that rewrote the script for filming. And there's also author and film historian C. Courtney Joyner. And that's one audio commentary. The other new commentary is with filmmakers Jackson Stewart and Francis Galuppi, or Galuppi. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. I apologize if I messed that up. But that commentary is more of a discussion about the film. So you kind of have like a behind-the-scenes one, and then you have one where they're just talking about the film itself and how it impacted their careers. So pretty interesting stuff. Now, the rest of the special features are on the standard Blu-ray that's included in here. You get the same 4K transfer, just without the HDR and Dolby Vision, just the 1080 disc, but you get the same transfer on the standard Blu-ray. You get the same new audio commentaries. You also get a new little featurette called Lean and Mean, the Early Films of John Flynn, which is an interview with C. Courtney Joyner, who is one of the gentlemen that is on the new audio commentary. So that's pretty cool. My favorite one of the new special features, though, is there is a little interview with composer Barry Dvorak, which is called Coming Home to War, Scoring Rolling Thunder. And it was really fascinating to hear him talk about going about making and designing, really, the score for this film. That's a really great little interview that they have in here. And there's also a couple carryover special features from previous releases. There is a little making-of documentary called The Making of Rolling Thunder, and they went ahead and interviewed William Devane and Tommy Lee Jones and Paul Schrader and Haywood Gould for that. So that's a neat little look behind the scenes on the film. It's also cool to hear the actors and writers talking about the movie itself, because this was kind of one of these really underseen, underappreciated movies until Quentin Tarantino started talking about it, and then everybody took notice of it. But that's kind of how I found out about this movie many, many years ago. I heard him talking about it in an interview, and I was like, I got to check this out, and turned out to be a really, really great movie. There's also a little thing called Trailers from Hell, where Eli Roth talks about Rolling Thunder over the trailer for the movie. And then, of course, there's a theatrical trailer, TV spots, radio spots, and a little still gallery as well. So, what's my opinion on the 4K of Rolling Thunder? I think this is a must buy if you are a fan of this film. It has never looked better. It sounds incredible. The special features on it are awesome. There's quite a few of them as well, including the 2 new commentaries. Very, very impressive stuff, and I'm really glad that this is part of my collection here. I'm glad this movie finally got the absolutely phenomenal treatment that it deserves. This is a knockout. If you want to pick up Rolling Thunder, I will leave a link in the description below so you can pick this up on 4K from Amazon. I do get a little kickback from Amazon. If you use that link, it does help me out here on the channel because I bought this movie with my own money. This is not a film that was sent to me. I just had to have it. This was a must-buy for me. And if you like this movie or if you haven't seen it, I recommend you pick it up, see it. It's an awesome revenge movie. But anyway, that's it for today from Kavanaugh's Corner. I just want to wish you all the very best. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel below so I can keep bringing you content like this. Thank you so very much. I wish you guys all the best. Please stay safe and take it easy.